Next is Senator Aubrey McCarthy.
Thank you, Ciara. Thank you to the Commission for presenting. For those who don't know myself, I'm a new senator, but I've been involved in homelessness and housing for the last 20 years. So when the Commission was set up, I was rather excited, December 2021, and I always keep the homeless figures tab in my office, and it was 8,914 at that stage, with 2,400 of those being children. Now, when we get the report, the homeless figures have doubled. So it's 15,580, 4,700 of those are children. So in the findings on your report, you said the overriding findings of the Commission are that housing must be treated as a national priority to support social cohesion that underpins economic development. And my fear is that December 21, we started with 2.5 years of hard work by your good selves. And now we're a year later beyond that. And I heard your colleague on the screen saying hundreds of meetings took place and all the rest. And I'm just wondering, so how come no findings have been implemented? We have 83 findings, but was there nothing that could be implemented immediately that would make a difference to the homeless figures, which we're dealing with daily? That's one question. Another question is, we seem to have a wonderful collection of experts, and you all have a fantastic CV, but it seems culturally we're not working together regarding whether it's governmental departments or whatever, and I'm wondering, is there a reason for that, and do you think in Ireland we can't seem to solve the housing, it's just something culturally? And then the third question I have is, if you were to identify one recommendation from the findings that we could implement in 2025, which could make the difference, what would be that recommendation, and what is stopping us?
John?
I'll start first, Chair. Thank you, Senator. In terms of just picking out one recommendation relevant to the area you're speaking about, is in relation to child homelessness, and you highlight, the increase in child homelessness over the last number of years. So we made a number of recommendations in relation to homelessness, but one was implement specific measures to end child homelessness, and we outlined a number of actions. And what we're asking there for, with all the issues, in relation to homelessness, is that we can't have a situation, or we shouldn't have a situation where children are homeless. So often we talk about child homelessness as part of the general homelessness, and we want specific action to address that. In relation to the question of working together, we do need, across everything, particularly in the housing system, for government departments, for the public-private sectors to work together, and it can work if we're all get focused on a common goal, and we move away from what David was talking about earlier about everybody doing their own bits. We have to find a way. It's not necessarily unique to Ireland, same in other countries, but we need to all get our shoulders to the wheel in relation to housing. I see Sorka wants to come in.
I think Ronan.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Ronan had indicated he was coming in first.
Just on what is it? Are we something unique in Ireland on this? I think that the key point to note is that Ireland is the only country, not that population growth is the only determinant of housing requirement, but Ireland is the only country in Europe to have faster population growth this century than last century, which puts us, the context is different. We're used to stable and often falling population, and we're now in rising population, whereas other European countries had rapidly rising populations and now either slowly rising or falling populations. So that is unique context. I don't think we're culturally somehow inadequate in relation to solving it. It's the context is different, and we have conservative population projections, and layering on top of that, the housing targets were until too recently treated as ceilings, that if you shouldn't go above this number, and that's only changed in the last little while. I think there are three elements of understanding of how we've got to 10 to 12 years into a housing shortage.
And Ronan, I sort of accept, I hear what you're saying, but if you look at the COVID crisis, you look at the 100,000 Ukrainians coming into Ireland, We managed to work at those. All of the people got together, all of the experts like yourself, and we fixed it. So housing, it seems, it's one area we're not able to fix. If we're able to house 100,000 Ukrainians like that, with the click of a finger, it all worked. Same with COVID. The housing numbers have doubled since the Commission was put together, and that is just disappointing. Certainly, I run the Lighthouse Homeless Cafe in Dublin. I see the queues every night. So the reality of each of those numbers is a life and a family. So what you're proposing is excellent, but I'm just hoping it's not another book to read.
I don't disagree with anything you've just said.
All right, I'm just going to let in, Sorka had indicated she wants to come in on that as well.
Yeah, I think when housing, there's no quick fixes. But if we're looking, and obviously homelessness even more complex because you need different actors to work together. I mean, it's not just about a short term for a year. If you want to maintain tenancies, you need to have also wraparound care for those with complex needs. But in terms of, let's say, quick things we can do, we're looking at this also at European level. It's enable off-balance sheet financing for AHBs, and also the complicated debt rules that local authorities have that Michelle mentioned earlier. So to quickly address those entities that are ready to deliver affordable housing, also housing for homelessness, to really listen to them and the problems they have with drawing down finance, even when there is finance available because of debt rules or balance sheet rules.
All right, Michael, 30 seconds.
Senator, like you've asked a very valid question. The reality of the situation is we have a report that can fix the housing crisis. It won't fix it overnight. There are several elements of that report that could have been implemented by now. We are where we are. But quite honestly, if you want me to pick out one item, I would pick out the oversight executive to be given much stronger powers to make things happen immediately. I am very, very worried that we are slowly not dealing with the crisis that we have in front of us. And I think that's really what you're asking us. What can we do? We can do an awful lot more, an awful lot quickly if we put our minds to it and collaborate as a group. And just to answer the last question that I didn't get a chance, a state construction company chair, with respect to Deputy Éireann, will not solve any problem. It'll actually make the situation worse. Happy to debate that if we have time at the end.
All right, thank you. Next slot, we have